everyone, welcome to another Coturnix Corner Live. Glad you guys could join us today. If one of my moderators are in there, I didn't even look to see if I had any moderators in there tonight. If somebody could give me an audio check real quick before we get going too far into this. We got a great show lined up for you tonight. Joining us all the way from Cuba is Juan Sarracino. Hey Juan, welcome to the show. Glad you could make it tonight.
Hi, thank you for having me, Terry.
Absolutely. Juan is also known as DelChuChu here on the channel. I believe that's the name of your business, DelChuChu Quail. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Good. And he's going to be talking about the way they do things over there in Cuba. So it's going to be a really interesting show tonight. Okay, Little Ridge Farms in the house says audio sounds good. Everything looks cool. All right, as always, guys, I got a few announcements that I need to make before we get started. First off, shout out to our channel sponsors, Hatching Time and Southwest Game Birds. You can get a 10% off of any order on Southwest Game Birds website, which is southwestgamebirds.com, if you use the coupon code Coturnix Corner. And also Hatching Time has donated another $50 Hatching Time gift certificate that can be used on their website. And for all of those who have been paying attention to the Coturnix Corner Facebook group, we had a post over there. We have two companies, Northwest Game Birds and Anita and John Garrett from AJ Farms LLC. Northwest Game Birds has sent me out a big box of, a lot of the stuff that they use, and I went through it. There's a lot of stuff in there that I don't need, so I thought, you know what, we'll just give it away on the channel. So I talked to them, and they said absolutely go for it. And also I talked to Anita today, and she's going to donate a 30 count of her JMF jumbo meat makers. So you guys stick around tonight till the end of the show to see if you may have won that. Also, I want to announce another live stream that we do on Fridays, which is called Shop Talk Live. It's basically live workshops, discussions, and whatnot. But it's Fridays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are done with the beginner series. We are now working on the intermediate series, which is, we're calling it the breeder series. We did a video last week Friday, all of, what was that one about? Breeding, line breeding, and spiral breeding. So you can check that out. That's in the Shop Talk Live playlist. Check that one out. Let's see. But anyhow, guys, I'm not going to be going, or at least I don't think I'll be going live this Friday, unless I get home in time. I've got a prior engagement that I have to make, and I don't know if I'll be back in time to actually do the live stream. But if I do, I will. And so we'll just go with that. Let's see. Also, we have our new schedule for April we put up. Today is April 19th. We have DelChuChu Quail here. Friday, Shop Talk Live. And then April 26th, which is next week, Tuesday, William Carl Foster, Michael Rose, and Dana Manchester are all going to be here talking about the history of the mutations in the United States. So that's going to be really exciting, guys. Mark that one on your calendar. You don't want to miss it. Shout out to our moderators, Lauren, Henriette, and Mark Wilson of Little Ridge Farm. I know I saw Mark in there, and I believe I just saw Lauren check in there. I don't know if Henriette made it tonight or not. They were having some issues with power out there in South Africa. So, what we're going to do is Juan put together a little presentation for you guys. We're going to go through that, and after we're done, we will jump into the chat room and take your questions and answers, and then we'll announce your winners. So Juan, if you're ready, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, and let me know when to key up your slideshow.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Terry. I'm really grateful to be here at the Coturnix Corner YouTube channel for the opportunity to show how I raise quail and how of a meaningful impact quail has had in my life and the life of my wife and my daughter. So My name is Juan Pedro Sarracino. I was born in Cuba, a small island 90 miles away from the US, to Italian and Spanish parents. So I'm Cuban, American, Italian, Spaniard, but I only have three passports. I'm mixing the one, but I don't want to overkill. Um, I moved to the US when I was 14. I did high school there. I did college where I got a degree in accounting. I really didn't like crunching the numbers, so I switched up to international relations. I got my bachelor's in Florida International University in international relations. I learned a lot of about a lot of something that I really enjoy. One of the main reasons I like this community in YouTube is that we get to see many people from all over the world sharing their experiences, and Quail binds all us together. And so I graduated from FIU in 2019 December. I came to Cuba 2020 to be with my wife for her graduation on Valentine's Day, and the lockdown began, and I was stuck on this side of the river,
Oh
and
no.
yeah, we we had a difficult time here, especially me because I didn't have. I'm like a tourist stranded in all legal terms. So at some point in the pandemic, we were incredibly blessed with our daughter, and we wanted to have a baby, but not so soon. But she got us by surprise, and
Right.
at some point during the pregnancy, we got really concerning news. My wife, she had iron deficiency, so she wasn't retaining iron. Her eyelids were yellow, her gums. She was looking pale as cheese,
Oh wow.
and yeah, and we had to do something drastic because we didn't have access to medicine from the U.S. We were paying here medicine at triple the price in U.S. dollars from scalpers, from people like that. So um, we had to do something drastic. So ever since I was a little kid, I remember my mom used to eat quail eggs like crazy. She would like eat them because she was really into fitness and watching her cholesterol and stuff. So I remember that they were high in iron. So I wanted to get some quail eggs for my wife. So we went to a botanist shop. I'm gonna go a little bit more into that. So it's a place where they say animals for religion. I'm gonna go a little bit into that in the next slide. So don't worry. So we went to this place where they sell animals, they sell herbs, potions, religious things, and we actually bought three egg cartons for quail eggs. So in Cuba, quail, any egg cartons are 30 pounds. So it was about 90 eggs, 90 quail eggs we bought. And when we got home, we opened the carton up. We started watching it. It had bugs. It was in a bad state. Most of them were rotten. I guess the guy was probably refrigerating them and then taking them out of the fridge and then doing it back and forth. I don't know why. Maybe we started to make balut or something. And they were horrible. Out of 90 eggs, only 15 eggs were actually good. So she tried them. She loved them, and I was disappointed. I was heartbroken. So we decided to get quails instead of buying eggs because we it was a game of truth or whatever. It was a 50-50 chance of getting good eggs. So we went to the place. I bought a male and six hens. I'm ashamed of admitting this, but I have no clue how to sex quail. So what I did is like I opened YouTube. I googled quail, rooster singing, crowing, whatever, and I played the audio, and then like three roosters crowed. I'm like, okay, I'm getting this one. This one's mine. And the guy's like, are you sure that's like the smallest? I'm like, yeah, yeah, this one's the best. To be honest, that's the only one I saw crowing. So I picked that one, and then I randomly picked six females. I brought them home. I didn't have any cages. I only had finch cages at this point. So I put them in a finch cage. I started giving them birdseed, and they started laying consistently. So my wife started eating the eggs, and I'm not one to exaggerate, but in less than a month, maybe a month, she got her iron levels from 7 to 12. So her blood became from pink to crimson to beet juice to wine. It was a complete different thing. So ever since that day, I've been really grateful to Quail. Made it my life objective to always have quail somewhere. So if you go to my house, we always have quail eggs somewhere, even in the restroom, because like sometimes I have it on my shorts, I forget it when I'm about to show them. What is this? I like leave it in the sink. I forget until like 3 days have gone by, and yeah, quail eggs also are a really important part of our life because my daughter, when she was remember, I'm living in Cuba. This is a tropical island. This is kind of like Florida, if you eh, not like Florida. It's like Haiti, if you want to make a comparison in regard to the mosquitoes. So we had a bunch of mosquitoes. That's like the main problem here, and we started getting bit every day. I actually got dengue fever like twice. My daughter, she started getting mosquito bites, and we gave her a spray, like an anti-mosquito thing to alleviate her itchiness, and she got full of hives. So it was like this condition where almost every type of food would make her get these hives, these eruptions. So we were trying to find something that was allergenic free, and I was like figuring out my like what to do. So I looked at my yard. I had ducks, I had chickens. I know duck eggs are a little bit allergens. So and chicken eggs, it's like not too much. But then I remember, oh, quail eggs, and we started giving our daughter quail eggs since she was 6 months old. She started eating quail eggs. Yeah, because my wife, she's really into independent babies, baby led weaning. So my daughter, ever since she was 6 months old, she was grabbing chickens like chicken drums and eating it like a Viking. Like she's a very healthy baby. Terry, you saw her. I don't know if we can get her to come sometime. But yeah.
Absolutely. Cool. You want to bring up the slideshow?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Just let me know when you want to jump into the next picture.
Perfect, yeah. So here we have probably one of my originals, my original breeding stock. These are actually wild quail, the first two, except the English one in the back. All of them were wildcats. So what that means is that the guy. I'm gonna explain all of this in a later slide because there's an industry here in Cuba. Because what the heck, I'll say now. So in Cuba, there's a religion called Yoruba, which actually comes from West Africa, from the Yoruban people. It's a syncretic religion in Cuba, which combines the Yoruban religion and the Catholic religion, and they have emphasis on sacrifice. They sacrifice animals to represent human lives or whatever in exchange to for health benefits and stuff like that. So since there's a market in Cuba for animals and there are not many breeders, actually, what they do is they capture animals. So quails like these ones, they go to a forest. They usually have a male quail in a cage, and they put him somewhere. He starts growing, and then the whole groups of quails are coming, and then they probably throw them nets, or they use these little traps that are like stick with a cage without a bottom, I guess. I don't know if you know which ones I'm talking about, Terry.
No, I don't.
The ones I sent you the picture on Facebook. I don't know if you recall. It's like a cage. It's like a crate without a bottom. You put a stick, a string, and then whenever they peck, it falls on top of them.
Oh yeah, like a box trap.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So the reason quail are used in religious ceremonies is that they represent fertility and good mothers. I know this might seem crazy to some of you, as we all know that quail don't get brooding in cages, but when quail, even though they are a ground bird, they migrate by walking and sometimes flying. When they actually have baby chicks, they don't fly. They tend to run away or try to keep their babies close. So the African people from West Africa, they saw quail, especially bobwhite and Coturnix quail, as good mothers. So whenever someone in Cuba or Africa, I guess, they're having issues with getting pregnant or something like that, their child has an illness, they will usually do a little. They will get a babalao, which is a like a shaman, I guess. He will do a ceremony. He will sacrifice the quail, and then he would people will see the benefits.
Hmm.
So I bought this quail from the guy who was a trapper, and when I put it in my cage, they started banging their heads like crazy. It was like horrible. They almost died on the spot. And the only upside to that is that once they settled, because I had them in a finch cage, I should have them in my yard where there's a bunch of trees, grasses, so they settled there fantastically. And then I separated them. I put a couple in a little finch cage and the rest on a bigger cage. So the couple, the female actually she got broody, and she started attacking the male, and she actually pecked his eye off. And when I separated them, she started actually setting on the eggs. So once we uh,
Okay, looks like we lost Juan here for a second. Let me go back to the two shot here. As soon as he calls back in, I don't know what happened. He just got disconnected for some reason. But yeah, that was pretty interesting story so far, guys. I don't know about you, but yeah, they've got some different ways of doing things in other countries. It was pretty cool to hear about that. So I do want to say, guys, go ahead and type the letter Q in front of your question for Juan, just so I can find the questions. I don't know how long we'll be running tonight. I haven't really talked to Juan about that, but it's best to get your questions in early. And then, like I say, after we're done with the chat room, we'll go ahead and announce the winners of the... There he is, calling back in right now.
I'm so sorry.
What happened there, buddy? What happened?
I don't know. It dropped. I'm freaking out.
Yeah, you just went back. That's okay, fine. Go ahead and continue on where you left off.
Yeah. Yeah, so actually when we moved the cage, I learned an important lesson. Never move your quail, even if they're broody. She broke the eggs because she had already settled on them, and she didn't react positively to that. So if we go to the next slide, we can start. Okay, so a good friend of mine, may he rest in peace, people, he started raising animals since he was 4 years old. He taught me the importance of having biosecurity. So I bought a couple of geese, and I usually don't get visits to my quail coop because of them. They keep all the visitors at bay. Yeah, we have very strict protocols. I don't let people see my animals. I don't let people see them, especially children. Maybe my daughter. She has strangled a few quail, but they're fine. Yeah. Next one, please. So once you pass the Dimitri and Lucy, here we have my quail chicken coop. So here we have a few important things to see. If we look from left to right, that's my makeshift brooder. Actually, it was, I don't know if you can see in the middle of the cage, there's like a division, because that's actually two cages joined together.
Okay.
I recently bought 15-day-old quail, and I put them in the first compartment, so they were really cramped. So I put it in the next cage next to it. I opened a hole, and they were perfect. If you see, we have a light bulb that's for them to eat all day, eat all night, and then we have an orange cable. That's my ceramic heat lamp. Currently, I only have 50 because we had an accident where they fell. I mean, ducks ate most of them, so I'm not proud of that. If we see the cage right around the right side, we have we have guinea pigs. I don't know if you can make them from here, but on the left side of the guinea pigs, we have my English whites. Up to recently, I only had their females because I was trying to figure out which male to put them, but I ended up with one of the sons. So if you look at here, we have a rooster, and he's the rooster of the yard, Leopoldo, that's his name. So what's interesting about this, I don't know if you can see the little division that's like the I don't know how to call the material, Terry. You need to help me out with this. The little boards, sink boards. You see them?
No, I don't really know what you're talking about. Sorry.
Do you see a rooster? You see the rocks, and you see like a something that's like iron or something.
Okay.
Okay, so there it's like a pit. I made it like I think it was like 3 meters. I made a hole, a big hole, and all of that's actually not dirt. That's actually quail poop. With
Really?
yeah, it's a constant compost that I have there going on.
Okay.
So I actually planted plants with that compost, and it works wonders. You just have to move it a lot.
Sure.
Yeah. So since I have dogs, chickens, I don't get flies or anything, so it works out perfectly. Next slide, please. So here is the brooder. Here we have some of the quail. I'm not sure how old they are right there. Sorry, my wife was checking. She saw the live like dropped and she was, oh, what's going on? So yeah, she's like, are you okay? um, so here we have the brooder. Here we have a quail looking tough. I don't know how to explain him.
It's pretty serious.
They are, yeah. He's very photogenic. I actually don't have as much feeders, so I had to improvise. So I have something made with aluminum. It's like a large tray. It's not very wide. It's like more long than wide. And there I place the food, and they actually waste a lot of food because they think it's a sand bath. And this guy, he was probably mad. He probably came late to the party. He couldn't eat, so now he's waiting for the next refill. Yeah. So if you would kindly go back, actually go back. So if you see here, wait, let me see. Here, yeah. So if you follow my finger, you can see the jumbo English whites. So I'm gonna show you those ones in the next slide, in the one after the next one. Wait, I think we froze. Hello, Terry, are you there?
Yeah, I got you. Go ahead.
Oh, I don't, wait, let me open on my end because I don't see. Are you on the?
I'm on the slide with the English whites. Uh-oh, hopefully we didn't lose them again. You still there, Juan? Nope. All right, again, sorry guys. Connection issues between here and Cuba. I don't know what it is, if it's on his end or on our end, but bear with us. As soon as he calls back in, we'll go ahead and finish it up. I'll have to let him know he's going to have to kind of rush through these so we don't end up just keep dropping out all the time. So. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but a lot of this stuff is pretty interesting. I mean, when I first talked to him on the phone, it was really neat.
Oh,
yeah, you're there again. All right, don't worry about it, buddy.
I don't know
why it's dropping. I don't know why it's dropping out, but let's try to get through these slides as quick as we can. It's already 7:25.
Sorry. Let's move. So here we have on the left, we have the female. She has her beak is like pink and black. She has dotted on her head and some of the back. As I mentioned earlier, those are females. I hadn't picked a male yet. I actually put an English male yesterday. So if we see in the bottom picture, that's actually a compost. That's how it looks like. So it's dirt. Okay. It's really rich dirt. So next one, please.
Hey, Juan.
This is the yeah.
Try not to move your hands as much. I think a lot of times when we get a lot of movement in the videos, it just can't keep up for some reason. I don't know what it is, but
I'll
stop moving.
I'll stop tweaking. Don't worry. So in Cuba, we recently got a pandemic, another one for rabbits that caused most of the rabbits to die off. They were tweaking and bleeding profusely and screeching while they were dying. So I got a pretty good deal at some of the cages. So most of my cages are rabbit cages. I don't know if you can see they have a middle divider for food. So if we go to the next slide, we can see what's inside those cages. So here we have my breeder groups. We have some pharaohs, I think that's how you call them, pharaohs or jumbo browns, or just browns. But most of them are tuxedos, even though they don't show them. They have small details here on the cheeks. And we can see my feeders, which is like the commercial ones that you find in Amazon. And then for the water, I have to, I bought this one that's actually for pigeons. I have to refill those manually. So if we see in the back, we have a little like crate thing. It's a oil container that I open a hole because I have a restaurant right next door. And I got a few of them. I washed them. I watched them like for 3 days straight, and I put a lot of sand because I'm really close to the beach, and they usually pick at the sand to get calcium. They use it as a cat box also, and then they do their sand baths, and it's awesome. And I actually recently got one of my whales to get broody. So next slide, please. So here's the other cage. We have smaller format because the case is smaller. So these are smaller oil containers, the same setting, same water thing, same number. Usually the ratio I'm having is depending. I've had ratios as small as 1 male and 3 females, 1 male and 2 hens. For these ones, usually I try to go for 1 male and 7 females, maybe less because I'm getting cages every day and I'm moving them, so it's fluctuating. So in the right side cage, the one like quite better where my image is, we have the hen that got broody. So I removed everyone from there and I left her there. It's at least the 3rd day and she's still sitting. So we're fingers crossed. Let's see what happens. Next slide, please. So here are my beautiful wife and daughter. My wife Diana Sarracino and my daughter Manuelita Sarracino.
What a cutie.
They both, yeah, thank you, Terry. This was taken on the day of her birthday. They both love quail eggs. I can't stand eggs at all, no type of eggs, since I was a little spoiled child. Now my day consists of counting quail eggs every day. Yeah, I've tried them pickled, I've tried them in fried rice, I've tried them boiled. There's no way, not for me. When I've actually pushed and eat them, I get really bad stomach aches, so my body doesn't like eggs. But they love eggs, so it's fine. Sometimes I have egg orders and they steal some to eat, so that's fine. I just lose some clients, but yeah, that's fine. As long as they're happy. Next one. So here's the infamous brooder that I posted. I got a few people that blocked me on on the group for no reason. Actually, they remind me to tell you there's someone I don't want to mention here because they blocked me, but it's probably a misunderstanding. So I have a bunch of gravel in my backyard. I actually don't have any gravel here at hand, but I was going to show you how dull it is. I got a fruit cage. I got gravel. I put a little bowl of water, more gravel. I always wash my gravel. And I put the small ceramic heat lamp. I place it at an angle that's not directly, because if you put it directly, it's going to be a hot stove. So yeah, that's my brooder. It fits probably comfortably like 60 inch, but since we're in Cuba and it's tropical, you can probably get away with moving them out when they're like 2 weeks. When they're 2 weeks old, you can move it outside and put them a little bit of heat. Next, we have the incubator. It was made 5 years ago. I wasn't as handy back then as I am now, and now I'm not even handy at all. So it was basically me scavenging for parts and my friend building it. We have the mechanism. It's like it was made from a stove and oven and electric stove and oven, and then we have a resistor. We have a car light or a motorcycle light. I'm not sure that tells you when it's like when it's heating. So it's like a light to let you know. I was having trouble with it. I got dengue fever a while back, and I actually reached out to you, to Ali, to my shire, to everyone, to even to Chris, asking them if I could leave my incubator to be fumigated. So the answer obviously was no. So when I had dengue fever, I had to move the incubator somewhere else, and the settings broke, and I had to figure out there with a really old school thermostat. So the solution to that was I don't know if you can see a digital thermostat that I have there. I just plug the incubator there, and I can see how many degrees I have. So I've gotten pretty good results. The bad thing is like the lid is really heavy. You have to lift that and then turn every egg by hand. I tried doing a dry hatch with chicken eggs, and out of 19 eggs, I only got one. It was a really beefy guy, but I guess I don't even have a hydrometer, so it's like, it's fine. I got a new one I have to try, but yeah. Next slide.
Oh, these are
So
cool.
here, yeah, so this is a person that in Cuba that they make figurines out of, I think it's called ceramic, and I figured out since I'm probably soon going back to the U.S., I figured out I'm gonna take my animals in some way with me because since I'm not brave enough to take a dead animal or eggs. I don't want to get, I don't want to go to jail. I just got these Lego figurines made. These one are quail and guinea hens that I really like. They are my favorite animals. I used to have guinea hens here, but they were really loud. We had to, the neighbors were complaining a lot, so we had to give them away.
That,
So yeah, in this slide, I actually want to mention the thing about the religion, but I guess we already touched on that. Quail in Cuba, or the Yoruba religion that comes from West Africa, they're used for their fertility because they are really good mothers. So if you ever hear someone tell you that quail are bad mothers, it's probably us that are bad keepers and giving them a bad environment.
mhm.
So yeah, next slide. So yeah, this is a very interesting slide. I've even though I've lived in the U.S. for most of my life, I forgot that in the U.S. Cartons are 12 eggs, mostly maybe 24, and in Cuba it's actually 30 eggs.
Wow.
So if you want to know a little bit about pricing, about the prices of quail eggs in Cuba, I sell 30 eggs for 300 Cuban pesos, which is roughly $3. So for $3 I sell 30 eggs.
Wow.
So yeah, and feed. Oh, I haven't. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go feed next in the next slide. So feed here is really hard to get by. Okay, it's fine. So here we have some of my males. The one on the left, I'm pretty sure he's a descendant from the wild quail that I got. He was a really good breeder. He got a bunch of fertility rate, but I'm guessing he was old. So at some point he started. He hasn't died, but he doesn't look as popping as before. You know, he doesn't look as vivid, I guess. So these are one of them is definitely his son. The other one I'm not sure. I actually bought that one in a religious place. So yeah.
Cool.
Next one. So here we are. So a lot of people ask me, how the hell do you feed quail in Cuba? So in Cuba, it's not like we're in the desert. There's a bunch of farms, there are a bunch of grain mills, but most of them are government owned. So you have to have arrangements with the government, which I don't have for many reasons, and I can't get those arrangements for many reasons. So I'm forced to buy my feed from markets, from people who raise pigeons. There's a big scene of raising pigeons here in Cuba, raising pigeons, conquest pigeons, all of the pigeons. So I'm forced to go to a lot of informal markets to people who raise chickens, dogs, pigs, and they make their own feed. So if we look at this, at the top side, we have some little yellow peas. That's like the thing that pigeons eat the most. We have some rice with husks on the right side. Then here we have some bird seed. Then we have some wheat bran, and then here we have some soybeans. Then if we continue up, we have corn, and then we have dog pellets. Those dog pellets are made in a investigative center, so they make studies for animals and stuff. So that one's actually for dogs and cats. So it's not very good for dogs and cats because it gives them diarrhea because it's really high on protein. So that's a plus for me. So I buy that for my quail. We also have sunflower seeds. We have a eggshells. I obviously use any type of eggshells. I also use on my quail eggs. I boil them for them. We have there a little pellet, the smallest pellet. It's guinea pig pellets. I don't know what the hell it has on them, but I still give it to my quail. Yeah, we have some more bird seed, and then we have peas. Yeah, that's the fourth circle of food. So
Cool.
a bag of 50 pounds of corn is 40 US dollars. It's really rough. So you have to make magic here. You have to be really creative. A lot of people have told me, "Oh, you should get duckweed." I had to pay 20 US dollars to get a handful of duckweed, and since we have a lot of mosquitoes, it was just me breeding mosquitoes. And yeah, I was like, nah, bad idea. I scratched that. I tried growing weeds. I've given them a lot of herbs. We have moringa trees here in Cuba. We have a lot of plants, fruit trees. So I give them a really varied diet of food, variety. I mean, I give them whatever herb I give to my guinea pigs, my rabbits, whatever. So they get a very, they get a lot of variety in the diet.
Sure.
So yeah, that's what I feed my quail. So here we have a little slide. If you could move my camera up a little bit, Terry.
Yep.
So here's this is the process that I go through. I get a manual hand crank. I mill the food. I make it into a little ground thingy. I give that to my quail. I try not to give too much because it's really high on protein. I don't know what ingredients it has. There's no information on it. So yeah, there's a Bali Photoshop plate below. It has a piece of bread and some rice that's cooked without oil, and that's like the base for most of the. Whenever I run out of corn, peas, whatever, then I'm forced to improvise. This is like doomsday. I get the dog pellets, I mill them, I put them in water. I don't ferment my feed. I'm really allergic. I'm really sensitive, so it gets my hand really itchy, really burned, and I'm not. I don't like that. So
Right.
I put bread. I buy bread from bakeries, like day-old bread. I buy a bunch. I put it in a bucket. I put some water. I dissolve it, and I put this. I put rice if I have, and then that's like the sludge that I give my quail whenever I'm out of grains or something. So
Right.
that's like really hard, and it's like normal. Yeah, next slide. So these are my ornamental quail. These are basically the quail that um, I bought these. There are two bottom quail that I bought for, I think it was 50 US dollars. It's a really scarce market here in Cuba, and I actually bought them. Think they were a parent, they're actually males. So unlucky me. And the two Coturnix hens that they are really aggressive hens, and they seem to get along fine. They're a rapid family. They actually turned against my jumbo males. So I placed them here because I figured out they were actually going broody, which they weren't. But now they're happy with these guys, and they're mounting them. And they're actually, I have them there for almost 7 months. And recently I started breaking their eggs to see, and they are fertilized. So
Cool.
I'm gonna try to put them in an incubator to see if I get hybrids. So I actually have bob whites. I had some wild caught bob whites. I intended to do the same thing, but every time I went to feed them, they would fly away. so, so yeah, I don't have bob whites anymore. Yeah, next one, please.
I love
So
this guy.
this guy, wait, his name is Mantecado. Um, he's a mongoose. He he's the I want to say he's the oriental cousin from the ferret. He's a highly wild animal that transmits rabies, and he's a pest in Cuba, but he's also endangered. So this cage, I don't know if you recall from the first pictures, the brooder. This is actually the brooder that I'm using. So back then I had this cage outside with three quail. So it was like three quail that were going. I think there were three males, and this guy, he entered the cage. I don't even know how. He ate them. I locked them because I was worried because they have rabies, and I kept them. I kept them for like 5 days. I don't know. I'm not sure. I got paranoid as days going by. I was starting feeling feverish. I thought I had the rabies, and it got to be too much for me. So I actually started feeding him raw quail eggs. It was it, it was non efficient because I didn't have holes and I didn't want to open it. So I started boiling them and giving them boiled quail eggs. And then whenever I had chicks that didn't make it, they would die in the incubator or whatever, or the brooder. I would, I put whatever dies on my homestead. If they're like young, I put them on my oh, not my homestead, my house. Sorry, I put them in the freezer in a little container. So I had a bunch of dead quail chicks, and I started feeding him. But he kept lunging at me. I'm like, come on, man, I'm feeding you. What else you want from me? So I got paranoid and I wanted to release him, but like since he saw me every day and he still lunged at me, and like this guy pretty much hates me. If I release him, he's gonna 100% kill me, and I'm not about to. We took we took the precautions. We drove into a forest and we released him. Um, I left the cage kind of open and I flung it from the car. He didn't get damaged. He was like, because they have like, because they climb and stuff, he was like stuck, you know, he was grasping. So I left the area. I came back 2 hours after. I saw the cage was empty. I left the area again. I came out like the next day and the cage was empty. I took it. So I'm like, okay, yeah. And the interesting thing is that most of my quail, they didn't actually see the mongoose because as you see if you recall from the first picture, my coop is like divided. So we have like 3 cages here and then 3 cages on the other side. So this guy was in a part that they didn't see him. But I'm guessing his smell, his hormones was there. Right. So they didn't lay for a long time, for 15 days. All of my cages, all my breeders, my 60 quail, they stopped laying for 15 days.
Wow.
Because of this guy, because he was there. Yeah.
Yep.
So his name was Mantecado. He was a good guy. I miss him. So here we have where Quail has taken me. Here we have 3 pictures. We have on the first one we have some quail on the dust bath I made. I've actually posted this dust bath in several groups on mostly WhatsApp, and there's a lot of people who have been interested. Obviously, no one wants to buy them. They want to learn how to make them, cheap right. Bastards. So I've done a few. I actually did a YouTube video on my channel, which is DelChuChu, the same name, and a lot of people have seen it. They've given me compliments. There's actually in Cuba, if you didn't know this, Terry, internet wasn't widely available until recently. So a lot of information here was passed by USB drives. So people would download all the videos from Cuban people or the most famous videos from the YouTube, and then they would sell them to people. So people would pay to get packages of videos. Yeah. Wow. So a lot of people were like, "Oh, just give me the raw video." I'm like, "Okay." So that's probably why my video has been seen by a couple of thousand people and only has like 100 views. They don't want to waste internet watching it. So right. On the middle one, we have some things I've planted with the quail poop. With the, not with the quail poop, with the quail compost. So here we have some Florida spinach, which is really good for quail, guinea pigs, chickens, for whatever. And the next one we have pumpkin. I've also planted moringa. I've also planted tomatoes, cucumbers, melons, you name it, everything. They usually don't live long because I have a lot of chickens that they like to fly. I have a video of one of my chickens flying and they destroy all my crops. And on the last slide, if you could kindly move my face out of it. Yeah, there we go. This is my garita. Actually, it's a brush goat. I got her just by trading quail eggs and some quail. She was around $30 US, which to you might seem low, but to Cuba it's like almost a year's salary or a month's salary. I'm not quite sure. So I got her, but just by selling quail eggs. I was talking to a person. They were like, "Oh yeah, I have a goat." I'm like, "Oh, I have quail eggs," and they were. I had to give them some money. And the rest was like comped with the quail eggs. I actually gave it to my daughter for her birthday. So cool. Yeah, that's for quail eggs. And this is my Jumbo Wild Green program. I started small, and now it's getting out of control. So there are some things that you shouldn't mess with. I'm done trying to get big quail, guys. I was trying to get some eggs to the U.S., but it's complicated.
I was just going to say you put a shame to the JMF line.
Yeah, man. I retired, so they think I make a profit, man.
I hear you.
I'm leaving the space for them.
Cool. All right. Well, that was really interesting, Juan. Appreciate that.
Thank
Let's
you,
go
Terry.
ahead and jump right into the chat room. It's already going on 8 o'clock, so I want to
Yeah, sorry.
get this done.
I
No,
thought- I
that's
thought
okay.
I-
That's
I-
fine. Well, we had some
I can go
issues
for a
with
long time.
connectivity, so that's all right. No, it was very interesting. I think I'm just going to go through and read the questions because if I try to read all the comments, we're going to run out of time. So let me get down here to a few of the questions. Chris says, how many jumbo eggs will a CT60 hold? Let's see. I just put 60 in, but using the quail rails, some of the eggs were too big, so I ended up taking the quail rails out and putting a piece of paper towel. I lined the regular chicken egg rail, and I think I got 60 something in there. I probably could fit another maybe 20, so figured
Depends
maybe
on how
80
much
eggs.
you want to break.
Yeah. Fish Hunt Traps. His question: can you explain what failure to thrive is and what causes it? You want to take
Sure.
that one?
Yeah. It's basically it usually happens if you want to look at it from every 100 quail. Usually five. I want to say five. Five is an acceptable number, I guess.
Mhm.
They are destined to fail. It's usually done caused by either genetic defects. Even if you have birds from different parents, it can happen. Usually, if you have bad conditions, you can make this number higher. So if you're breeding sister to brother to uncle to grandma, sweet home Alabama, I'm
gross.
joking, no hate. So if you're going crazy with it,
Okay.
you can probably get this number really high. So even if you're having fluctuations with your temperature, with your humidity, you can provoke this. So if you have ideal conditions, this number should be five. So a 5 out of 100. So the more quail you have, the more failed to thrive you get, I guess.
Right. And a lot of times too, during incubation, if you have eggs that go, 3 and 4 days longer than the bulk of them, like say the bulk of them hatch out on day 17, and you let them go to day 22 or 23, usually those late hatchers seem to have issues all the time. So that's why I always call it, after the.
Yeah, those are living balloon, Terry. Walking balloon.
I got to read this one. Confused says, hi, Juan. I laughed so many times over that picture you posted of yourself sitting in a chair with the huge quail next to you.
I was scared. I'm not going to do
I'll
that again.
Okay. Jeff Martin says, what is your market like there for eggs, meat, or both?
I didn't get too much into it. I got carried away. But in Cuba, usually, quail eggs have been always here. They're always been a part of the gourmet restaurants. But up to recently, because of the current situation, socio-economic situation, plus the pandemic, all of the stuff that's going on, food has gotten really hard to get by, and people are having some deficiencies, and some medicine are scarce because there are a lot of scalpers here. people who buy and then resell for like 10 times the price. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even exaggerating. So for my wife, for vitamins, I had to buy something that was $17 at $60 for 30 pills.
Wow.
So yeah, so a lot of people here in Cuba, they buy the eggs for people who have for anemic. I think that's how you call it. When they have iron deficiency. Yeah, people with COVID, they are doing with bad COVID, not with the light one. People who have pneumonia, people who have cancer. So a lot of them buy quail eggs. It's mostly a cultural thing. It's like they believe in medicinal properties. I'm pretty sure it has, even if it's just placebo. It helps tremendously. I'm a living example. My wife went from yellow to pink just by eating quail eggs. So the market here is usually for health purposes. There's a gourmet side to it, but restaurants don't actually serve quail eggs because there's a restaurant right next to where I live. I actually sold them a carton one once, and they used it for tartare. So it's like filet mignon, I think. They cut in slices and then they make like ceviche, which is like uncooked but with lime, and then they use a quail egg to make it. Oops, excuse me. They make it like to make it silky, to make it like a soft texture.
Right.
I wanted to try it, but it was so expensive. It was more expensive than the egg cartons. So I'm like, oh, maybe next time. So the other market here is a lot of people, as I mentioned, in Cuba, there's a big industry for religious things. Probably in the U.S. too, in places where there's a lot of Cubans, maybe some African people. I don't know if you can ask Henriette and Marius, sorry, because it comes from West Africa. So the Yoruba religion, there's a lot of animal sellers and all that stuff. So if you hatch the eggs, it's easier. So the market here is people who buy the eggs to hatch them. So it's a complicated thing. So you don't have private breeders. You usually have people who have the eggs and sell them for people to sell the animals. So if someone who's like a seller, instead of buying an incubator and buying eggs, no. They buy the eggs to hatch them or the chicks, and then they get rid of the incubator. They don't breed their own chicks. It's not cost efficient for them, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know. It makes sense.
Right. Charles's question: 10 females hatched out of 38 eggs. Is this a normal percentage of females?
Oh yeah. Quail like to do your dirty.
Seems like you always get more males, don't you?
Yep.
Okay, let's see. Gary says, what is the breeding behind Mark's feral feed? Sorry, Gary, that's top secret information. We don't give that out. They're just standard fab fees. Okay, Nick says, awesome story. Question: did your wife eat the eggs raw to get the benefits she did, or did you cook them the same way you would chicken eggs and she'd eat them that way?
No, she actually comes from the city, so she couldn't even touch an animal. So right now it's been like 2 years of the pandemic, and now she even plucks everything. But no, she didn't eat raw eggs. She would eat them. She'll get the white part of the egg. I forgot the name right now. Not the yolk, the other one.
Album.
The what?
Albium.
Yeah.
Album.
Yeah, she will get that. Yeah, I mean, she will get and she will make merengue. She will boil the eggs. She will make like a paste. She will make fried eggs. She will make a lot of pancakes. Even pickled eggs. She will eat them in different ways, but never raw.
Cool.
I've eaten raw quail eggs. That's the only way I can eat them. But
I can't eat them raw. Michelle says, what a beautiful family story. You're an amazing storyteller.
Thank you.
I thought so too, Michelle.
Thank you, Terry. Appreciate that.
Jeff says, so good to hear about the health aspects of quail on a first-hand basis. Absolutely.
Yeah. One of my friends, the guy who died, he was 84 years old. He had ulcers, a lot of them, so he had a profuse bleeding. And quail eggs were something that helped them because he was actually, since he was bleeding, he was losing a lot of iron. So quail eggs, he actually told me, I'm not sure, but if he told me he had been raising animals since he was 4 years old, so I'm talking about 80 years of experience.
Sure.
He used to go to his yard. The only day he didn't go was the day he died.
Wow.
He just stayed in bed and he died peacefully. So he told me that if you actually get your eggs and you pickle them, usually with things like pepper or not pepper, like bell pepper, like red bell pepper, paprika, beet juice, all of that combined. So everything that you have that's red and quail eggs pickled, that helps your iron levels to go way up.
Oh,
But
cool.
pickled eggs are not for everyone. So yeah,
Right.
that can be a good thing to explore.
Michelle says, I could literally listen to Juan forever. This is fascinating.
Feel free to check my YouTube channel.
There you
I'll
go.
try to upload more. Yeah.
What is the name of your YouTube channel?
DelChuChu.
Cool. Easy enough. La Rochelle Farm says, question, are you becoming a breeder in Cuba or are you just growing for yourself?
Okay, so you know how in the US, if you get too big, you get government regulation. You don't want to get big here.
Oh, yeah?
You don't want to. Yeah. It's like I said, I don't. I've had people who ask me about breeding eggs since. Oh, I didn't mention this. English whites are extremely rare in Cuba.
Really?
I'm pretty sure there's like people, private breeders. I'm talking about millionaires that have them.
Wow.
So I paid it was like $20 for 6 of them, and it was like 4 males and 2 females, and
Wow.
that's crazy for anyone in Cuba. That's a crazy price. So I breed them here at home. I usually eat all the males. I don't sell males. I want to mention real quick that when I started raising quail, I told you this in private, but I didn't say here. There's actually, you know how there's like cockfighting, rooster fighting. There's a ring of illegal quail fights. So there's a bunch of grown-ass adults who spend their life savings on fighting quail. I haven't been a part of it. I haven't seen it. I think it would be really interesting, but there are a lot of ethical things. So I'm not interested. It's a cultural thing. I'm not interested in that culture. I don't like animals suffering needlessly. So I've heard of people and I actually started doing some searches, and there's a YouTube video, Pakistani people fighting quail, and it's really interesting. Like I can't mind like losing my life savings on quail fighting. Yeah. So
Okay.
sorry. So most of my sales are usually for people who have health problems.
Okay.
So the only reason I sell so I can buy food from a quail. So I sell to
Gotcha.
people with health problems. I don't sell to restaurants or anything. That was just a test, but I only sell to people who need them.
Okay. Mark from La Rochelle Farm says, question, you say they were trapped. Are they native to Cuba or did somebody import them and just let them run wild?
So actually, I have doubts about that very same thing because, as you know, quail migrate. They are migratory birds. I read a study that was done in Spain from someone who they basically got wild quail, so brown quail, normal quail, not bob whites, normal quail, and they banded them with GPSs, and then they were somewhere in Spain and they migrated to Canary Islands and they stayed there. So I'm talking about a lot of miles. So some of these quails might be from, I know a lot of them are born in Cuba. Some of them might come from maybe US, maybe Mexico, maybe Haiti or Puerto Rico. I'm not very good at geography. So for sure, these ones were caught in Cuba. And they were Cuban because they weren't some of them were older, some of them were younger, and they were really wild. I'm talking about crazy wild. The guy was like, because the market here is not for breeding, it's for to be sacrificed. So you really don't care. You buy them, you feed them whatever. Then when the day of the ceremony comes, you do your the babalao does the little chant to do the ceremony, and they kill the quail. And it's really humane. It's more humane than some people would think.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you saying the wild ones can fly?
All of them. Have you never said you're a quail? They actually migrate, Terry.
Yeah, but I mean, mine only fly like 10 feet and they fall on the ground.
I'm gonna try to send you a picture of one of mine. Flew. I was like, "Are you?" But one of mine, I'm talking about third generation one that was born here.
Right.
That one was probably born in a hatchery, a private hatchery or something. But that one, it depends on the time because they even though they fly, if you have it in your cage the whole life, they're less likely to fly long distances. But
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, they take advantage of strong wind currents. So I'm guessing at the beginning at the beginning of this month maybe might be a good time for them to. It depends on the trajectory.
Right. Okay, Mark says, question, are you able to sell eggs and meat for a profit?
Yeah, I've done the math. I've the most I've had was 60 layers at some point. I was selling the eggs at 250 to $2.50 for 30 eggs, and my feed, whatever I bought, would last me approximately 2 weeks. So it was like 2 weeks of, I think it was like a $30 between all the costs from buying all the seeds and stuff. So
Okay.
it was, yeah, I didn't make a profit, but I did make a profit, but then I will buy more food for my chickens, my
All
dogs, my
right.
guineas, my parakeets, everything. So where are the money makers here?
All right, Texie 2022 says, question, can you compost quail waste like chicken waste and use it in the garden with the same benefits?
That's an interesting question, Texi. I actually do. I made a, yeah, I don't know if you saw in the slides, we have the cages, they're in a part and there's like a hole. It was a very deep hole. I actually broke my back in the hole with a pickaxe. And then well, I've been pooping there for like 2 years. I've been throwing whatever I have, so whatever dead plant matter, I've been throwing into the hole, moving it, and they keep pooping. And I've gotten dirt, and all the plants I have here. I have a lot of cacti because I like ornamental plants. My
Mm-hmm.
wife doesn't. She's like, come on, dude, be more man, be manlier. Don't care about plants. So I use a lot of quail compost for a lot of things, and it's very efficient. I actually had a lot of problems with flies before, but since I have ducks, the same ones that eat my baby quail, they take care of the flies because they eat the larva. So whenever I'm
Wow.
refilling the water for my quail, it becomes like a pool, and then all the larvae come afloat, and my ducks eat them.
Ah,
So
cool.
I actually want to mention, Terry, that I have that my quail are really tame. I don't know if you saw the video on the group because
Mm-mm.
I handle my quail like probably 5 times a day.
Oh,
I have
really?
to open the cage manually, yeah, because they're rabbit cages. They're not quail cages. I don't have the feeders.
Right.
I started working on that recently. So I have to open the cage to refill the food, to refill the water with my hose, and then to take out whatever poops in the quail sand cat box, whatever you want to call it, and then to pick eggs. Yeah, I've seen. Oh yeah, an egg, and I'm like, oh no, poop. I guess that means you're gonna get money. So yeah, I've done. Yeah.
All right, Little Ridge Farm says, question, do you raise guinea pigs to eat as well?
I I've had really bad luck with guinea pigs. I'm not gonna lie. They recently I mentioned there was a pandemic here in Cuba that took 80% of all the rabbits in Cuba, so people moved into guinea pigs. They call
Mm.
them cuis or cavies, which is a variety that's bigger. It's like a
Yep.
meat maker, and you have to give them a lot of weeds, a lot of herbs, since pellets are really expensive and really hard to come by. There's a lot of scarcity here.
Right.
So my guinea pigs are really they're not as fat as they should be. They're not as bitty as they should be. So they're ornamental. I was gonna sell them the other day. I put them in a bag, and my wife was like, "Oh, but your daughter likes them." I'm like, "Fuck!" Now I have to feed this asshole. So yeah, I'm stuck
All
with them. I have
right.
one male, five females. They were for meat, but they're freeloaders.
All right.
Yeah.
OB7 says, question, do you have any special colors in Cuba? Probably a quail,
Um,
I imagine.
yeah, yeah. Actually, when I started racing quail, I only saw jumbo. I only saw browns. I don't know. I'm stuck with the word jumbo. I only
Uh-huh.
saw wild browns, but ever since I was a kid, I've had gone to a lot of sacrificial things because I love animals. And that's why, oh, you want to buy animals? Let's go. So that was like the Home Depot of animals, if you want to put it some way. And
Right.
I remember seeing back then, a lot of colors of quail. So Italian, what you might call Manchurian, really brown quail, but I haven't been able to see them. And the English whites are really rare. I'm assuming currently there are only English whites and jumbo browns. If there are other varieties, they're really hidden
Okay.
because you have to understand that in Cuba, even though internet has been for the last 5 years, there's a lot of people who have lived their whole lives and without touching internet. So it's
Yeah.
like really hard to find the breeders.
Yep. Tim wants
Um,
to know: are any permits or licenses needed to raise and sell quail?
if you're doing it at a really big scale, you probably have to have a license to sell animals since there, like I said, here since everything's government owned, like everything, I'm not joking. You will have to have a contract with the government, so they will give you probably a farm space, I guess, or maybe not. Maybe
Hmm.
they won't give you anything. So what they do is like they force you into a contract that you have to give a certain amount of eggs or meat or whatever, and then they sell you feed, so bags of feed of actual real feed. So 50% layer, something percent protein, so not whatever's in it. So, but it's a bunch of tariffs, and a lot of people that I know that they have it, they complain. Even though I'm not with them, I haven't even done the research. It would be too much time consuming for me because for me it's not a hobby. It's me exploring the ropes. I
Yeah.
I I have good experience with this, so probably when I get to the US, I'm gonna make a bigger operation. But for right now, it's too much of a hassle. It's like too much of a hassle. Like think Big Brother.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know what
Like
you mean, man.
if you wanna raise quail, they're gonna investigate even your grandma.
Right. Let's see. Rochelle Farms this question. I'm also interested in about the availability of feed. What do you use for starter feed, and what do you use for layer? Or better yet, what do you use? Period.
um, this guy's Mark, right? His name is Mark.
Yes.
Okay, so Mark, here's the thing. So since there are no food stores or grain mills for everyone to use, only for the government, you have to improvise. And sometimes you buy corn and you make your own mixture with dog pellets, like I showed. Sometimes you buy soybeans, but most of the time those things don't appear. So you're forced to use wheat bran, which is worse than giving them something. So for starter, for grower, for finisher, for layer, it's the same feed. So whatever is happened. So I've actually given them pig food.
Oh.
So you can make of it whatever you want. There are no brands here. There are no percentages. I'm a loss. I've given them here. I've done some research to try to formulate things. But I can assure you, even with bird seed, with bird food, they won't die and they will still lay and eat.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I'm crazy to get one of those bags to see. Oh, actually, once I was lucky enough. My friend that raises ducks, he has I guess he has an agreement with the government, whatever. He gave me like a 30 pound mixture of dog duck. So quack quack quack.
Yep.
Bag of not bag, but like a little can or a bucket of feed, and that was really high protein. My quail started getting really big eggs, but
Yeah.
I'm talking about crazy jumbo eggs. They went from normal to big, and even in the same week, they got the really tiny fart eggs.
Hmm.
Um, I actually learned something that my friend used to tell me. If you have small quail, so young quail that they're starting to grow, they're probably 50 days old, 60 days old, I don't know. And if you give them too much high protein, they're probably gonna get prolapses. So you
Right.
might want to. This is my personal recommendation. This is from someone who doesn't have access to a lot of high protein feeds. You should probably wait a little bit more to give it to your like new layers. I
Cool.
guess.
Adrian says, question: what is your favorite kind of quail?
Um, I really like jumbos, but I feel it's more of the not being able to have them. Not jumbos, sorry, Chinese quail,
Uh-huh.
king quail, since they are really hard and expensive to get by. But I also appreciate a lot the English whites, but I'm really grateful to the browns. But whenever I'm in the US, I'm gonna have like a little. I wanna make an aviary, but at the same time I wanna have my layers. But I wanna when they get old enough, I wanna put them in the aviary so they are retired, living in paradise. Just
Sure.
having living the best life. And I even named them on my website. You're kind of sadistic because you name them and then you eat them. Come on.
Okay, let's see. We just answered that question. Tony has the same question as before. Jeff says, question: any predation other than the ducks? Any other predators besides your ducks?
Yeah, I mean the dogs was kind of my fault because I was feeding them and I left the cage kind of open and they jumped
Right.
to the death. We also have not too much. We have hawks. It's not very often. It's just like a certain time of the year, maybe like for 2 weeks, but it's not an issue. Um, I've had quails that have escaped. They have flown and then I've found them killed by dogs.
Wow.
We also had the mongoose that I showed you guys. Fortunately, he only ate 3 quail eggs. 3 quails. Sorry. But yeah, we don't get many. Oh, when I started raising quail, I put my cage really on like right next to the floor, and my chickens, they. I had a bunch of one-legged quail at some point, Terry. I'm gonna lie, it was horrible.
Steven says, question: with the rabbit die-off, how did you cleanse the rabbit cages to use for the quail?
No, I sacrifice my rabbits,
Oh,
and
did
they don't it doesn't transmit. Quails can be carriers or other birds. The sickness got transferred by sparrows.
Gotcha.
So yeah. So even if I hadn't cleaned them, it wouldn't be an issue.
All right. All right. Tim says, how many quail are in your flock, and also what are your goals in keeping quail?
I want to have quail for my daughter and my wife. Eggs for them. Oh, my daughter actually ate quail. We did some quail in the slow cooker.
Cool.
She started growling. She really likes quail.
Nice.
My flock currently it's 30 adult birds. It's probably 8 English whites and the rest are brown. And I have 50, maybe 51, 54, something like that in their growl cages. So I need to change my breeders up because I recently I was expecting to go to the US, but then the plans changed
Right.
because I'm in a process that's supposed to take 6 months, but it's been 2 years and a half. So I'm I'm constantly selling my quail and selling my cages and then buying them again cheaper. I'm lucky at least. So my goal is to have a steady supply for my wife and daughter. Sell some eggs for them to buy their own feed and then eat whatever's left, whatever males are left.
Cool. Texie says, question: are snakes a problem for your quail?
Probably here in Cuba, we since my cages are tall and I had guinea fowl, I have never seen snakes. I have geese, I have chickens, I have ducks, so they're always moving the dirt.
Mm-hmm.
The only snake that I've seen here in the past 3 years, it was a Brahimi blind snake that looks like a worm, and I actually
Okay.
have her in a tank, and she's my snake. She's my gal.
You catch everything. all your
No.
predators, you catch and keep them.
Yeah, I actually raise everything there. In Miami, I have a bowl next to my bed with mealworms. My mom sometimes drops leaves. Yeah, I'm obsessed with raising everything.
Cool.
And fun fact, sorry, before we move to the next one, Raimi blind snakes are really interesting because most of them are female, and they can reproduce asexually. So not asexually, but they lay eggs, and those eggs develop life without fertilization. So they multiply. Yeah, that's really
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, Tony wants to know, do you incubate eggs, and any issues with power outages that will affect the incubation?
I do incubate eggs. I've tried. I forgot to put this slide here, but I've tried different incubators, natural incubators. I tried with chickens. I didn't time it right, so my hen actually left the cage, and left the nest, and they died off. Because I didn't have any other broody hens. I didn't have an incubator back then. I tried with pigeons. They hatch them perfectly, but if you don't move fast, when they realize they're quail, they'll kill them. But I didn't have that problem because I moved them fast enough. I tried with bottom quail. That didn't work. I Terry, I had a brooder for some guinea hens outside. I put a little plastic thingy with some sand. I put the light bulb. It was like an old light bulb. It wasn't a heat lamp. I put the eggs there and started developing. But then the guinea hens broke the eggs and I saw life. So what I mean by this is like you don't have to overthink your incubator. So having known this, when I started using incubators, even though I have made one in the past, I didn't have I have to buy it back. The incubator, I have had a couple power outages, but nothing to worry about. I haven't had more than 3 hours. So it really holds the temperature, so it's not an issue.
Cool. Michelle says, do you feed as a whole mixed seeds and let them pick through, or do you grind them together?
Depends on what I have. When I started raising quail, since I saw their beaks were really big, I get them corn and they just like stare back to me like what, you know. So I had to mill it. But for since I have parakeets and finches, I give them bird seed. So usually big grains like corn or whatever, I mill it. I give them to them, and if I only have like pellets, I break those pellets. I put them with cooked rice without oil or bread. That's done with water.
Cool.
So yeah.
P.S. Cuban Art says the work that Juan has been able to do in Cuba is fantastic.
And I'm not even the one doing the most. There are some people here with crazy setups.
Right.
I don't know how people can, honestly. Thank you, though.
Tim says, wow, you have to go through a lot for these birds.
It was someone from Cuba. Hi.
Yeah,
I didn't realize.
P.S. Cuban Art, yep.
Oh, hola.
Okay. Tim says, oh, that mongoose is cool. I thought he was cool, too.
Yeah, I was like, since I've had ferrets in the past in the U.S., I really wanted him to be tamed. He had rabies. Like, damn.
Michelle says, oh my God, we're all doing it wrong with predators. We should be keeping them as pets.
Yeah. The only bad thing is, like, as I mentioned, since I had the mongoose here for maybe 10 days, I don't know, the number is blurry. So many days.
Right.
I saw the effects of having a predator here. Just a smell made my quails not lay for 15 days.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Gay says, question, have you tried selling the quail compost?
No. It's really hard to sell compost.
I give mine away. I bag it up and I give it away.
I mean, since I'm always buying cactus and whatnot, I'm always I'm not giving it away, but I've traded cactus for compost. So,
Right.
but I haven't formally sold it. I'm actually buying compost, and sometimes I buy like quail, not quail, like worm humus, and I place it on top of it so it can accelerate the process.
Okay. Michelle says, this has definitely made my short list of favorites. Thank you so much for sharing with us, Juan. Cool.
Thank you, Michelle. It's an honor.
Bird Dog Quail Farm says, Juan's wide awake. Looks like he's drinking Cuban coffee.
Oh yeah, no, I'm drinking Pepsi.
I tried that Cuban coffee one time when I was in Miami. Never again. Oh my
God.
Lord.
I started drinking coffee recently, and I can't go back to Starbucks. Nothing like that. It's something different. You should give that to Quail.
Right. Brody says, how many quail does Juan have? Does he have a specific breeding system, or does he just take a hands-off approach and let them breed how they want?
No, not at all. Currently I have 30 quail that I bought. I bought the initial stock, which was 7 birds 3 years ago, something like that. And I bought the English whites, and I've done a lot. sorry, a lot of crosses, and then the English white hasn't expressed fully. So I'm guessing it's. I'm not very clear with genetics, but they have little dots instead of being the whole thing. So I do a spiral breeding program. I don't have any info on the cages. I just know don't mix them. I just know this one's are the daughter of this one, and then every so on I buy new cages and I make new couples. And I recently bought 50, 100 baby quails, so that should help me with any issues from the previous lines that I had.
Right. Okay. Brian says, does the Cuban government regulate you with the quail?
If you get too big, and if you want to be a part of their operation, farms, or whatever, but if you're a private person like me, you shouldn't.
Right.
It's like basically this is like a hobby. It's like at a hobby level. 60 quail is not too many, not too much.
Alex Sarracino says, Choo-choo, this was super interesting. Didn't realize how much into it I was going to get. Is that a brother or something? Or
yeah, this is my cousin. He's a scientist. He's wild. He went to
Where's he at?
He's in I think he's in North Carolina or Michigan.
Oh, okay.
He does a lot of cool things with lasers. He's about to become a doctor in physics.
Nice.
He's out there. He's crazy. He's like me, but with lasers instead of quail.
Let's see. Anita Garrett's in the house. Says, hi, Juan. Sorry I'm late to the party. Just coming in from work. Glad you could make it, Juanita. Tim Baldridge says, quail fighting? Whoa.
Yeah, I've been tempted.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Let's see. Roebuck Ranch says, haha, we've had quail fly across our 5 acres when they're feeling spicy. I didn't realize they could fly that far. Because, I mean, when mine get out, they fly, 50 feet, 20, 30 feet, and then they're down on the ground again.
I guess on the winter, we get here on the winter when they, there's like a palm tree that stops dropping their seeds. That's when the Guajiros, so the old backwoods people of Cuba, I don't know if you know the term Guajiro. It's like I don't want to say redneck because I think I find the term offensive to all people, but it's like if you think a redneck, we're like a softer version or even a redneck. That's our like Guajiros. They say that when their palm stops giving fruit, that's in the December months, the birds migrate. So mostly bald whites or quail, or Coturnix. They probably come from the U.S. or Panama or whatever. You have to remember they come with the wind currents.
Right.
So it's unpredictable.
Andrea says, what about the heat in Cuba? Are quail okay in the heat?
Cuba's like Miami. I don't know about where you're at, Terry, but it's really hot, then it's windy, then sometimes it rains.
Yeah.
It's like it's not as humid as Miami. It's really dry. So I don't have heat stroke here, but I've actually noticed when it's colder, my quail go to more water than when it's hotter.
Right. Really?
So when it's colder, they drink more. Yeah.
Yeah. I get the same. I'm only 90 miles from Miami, so it's it's hot here.
Yeah. So you're 180 miles from where I am, so it's basically the same climate.
Right. Okay, not talking to me. Katrina wants to know, have you tried raising mealworms or black soldier fly larvae for your quail and chickens?
I've heard other recommendations. The problem here is that you can find oil before you can find mealworms. I actually have I have mealworms in over there in my house in Miami. I bought them. I went to a pet store. I don't even know to buy what, and I just bought mealworms. I started like raising them before even having quail. So yeah.
All right. Mark wants to know, how is the shell quality using the homemade feed?
So how much it lasts?
The shell quality of the quail eggs.
Oh, it's really fine because like I have a lot of calcium, as I mentioned. I have the beach right there. It's like less than 100 meters. I'm really lucky. So I just whack up to it. I grab like a handful. I walk back to my house. I, I like if I'm feeling lazy, I like drop it. Salt water. They probably get some minerals. It doesn't get stinky as if you put salt. As if you like let it outside to the sun because it's in a cool, dry area. But sometimes I go with a bucket. I wash it. There's also a market here in Cuba for um, grit, grit. So there are a bunch of people here who actually make grit. So they go to the beach, they get grit, and I buy grit. It's usually sold for pigeons, but I buy it and I give it to my quail. I've had guinea hens, so if you know how guinea fowl, how hard their eggs are, it doesn't compare to that, but it's like a chicken egg, so it's like hard. It's not
Right.
if you drop it, it's not gonna break, but it's gonna have like a bend. I've had
Okay.
soft eggs, but that's like for new layers or old layers. But it's not an issue. I don't get brittle eggs.
Yeah. Chris says, "Hey Terry, thanks for the info for replacing the tips on the watering systems on the hatching time cages. They work great." Yeah, I did a video on replacing the vertical nipples with horizontal nipples. I think they work better. Let's see. Anthony says, "Question: What's your favorite quail recipe?"
Slow cooked with a lot of vinegar.
Okay.
It's I mean I wanna butcher the recipe because one of a lady that raised me, she's like my mom. She made them. Mom, she made them. I'm not quite sure how she made them, but they were delicious. My daughter, she 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 was crying when I took away the bone. It was delicious.
Cool.
But like,
Dennis says, "Go ahead."
sorry, I've had them fried. I had them. I tried barbecue.
That's why I
Barbecue
like the
didn't go.
barbecue.
They didn't go too well because I mistook the time and they were like charcoal, so I didn't
All right.
eat them.
Dennis wants to know: Do you supplement your feed with fruits and vegetables, or is that part of your daily ration?
Um, I don't like eating quail with fruits. I'm joking. I'm joking. That was a bad joke. I yeah, like I know I picture someone like biting a raw quail and then biting an apple. I don't know why I picture that. Um, I it's not a part of the daily feed. I put them a lot of herbs, so moringa. I put them sometimes. I put them watermelon. I put them pumpkin. It's not a daily thing because it's not that cheap. I'm working on growing some in my yard. I've given tomatoes because remember I have chickens, I have goats, um, guinea pigs, ducks, dogs also. I have everything, so I have to. I can afford to give like tomatoes to all my quail and not give them to my guinea pigs or my goats. So I have to
Okay.
ration everything, but like every once in a while, I'll give them something.
Can you see? Can you see these comments, Juan, when I put them up?
Yeah, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Good. You're gonna have to read this one because I don't speak Spanish.
You want me to say in Spanish or English?
No, English. I don't know
Oh,
what
okay.
it is.
So which are some of your favorite dishes of quail inspired from Cuba? We thank you for your recipes. So I guess we could, if you Google pollo en cazuela or which is chicken in cazuela, which is like a slow cooker, I guess. So quail en cazuela, which you can do it with potatoes. Use vinegar or use I mean, you don't use vinegar. Use natural things. So it's like you put your pan or your little thing. It's like a big thing. It's like a not a pan, but like it's not a wok, but it's something similar to a wok.
Hmm.
So you put that. You put your oil. You make it really hot. You put your quail to sear them. Then you put it low. You add your spices, your onions, um, your garlic, you put your tomatoes, a little tomato paste, you put sour orange, you put more spices, you put a little bit of sugar, and then you let that cook. You put some potatoes if you want. You let that cook, Terry, and that's man. I'm telling you, it's like so much flavor. And
Cool.
quail's a really thankful meat. Whenever the more things you put to it, the more it reflects that. It's like
Right.
awesome.
Oh, wait a minute. I missed a question. Frank says, "Let's have a quail con in Cuba. Juan could sell lots of tickets.
I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to go to jail. Yeah. I know Terry's doing one next week. Maybe
Yeah,
we can
right.
go to his page.
Okay, let me see. Not talking to us.
I mean, one time in Miami, I'm probably not to the level to, since I'm in Miami, not Miamisburg, maybe I can do like a similar smaller scale quail thingy, because like I mentioned this before, I studied international relations and I really love meeting people from different cultures,
Right.
different religions, whatever. I'm open-minded to everything, to hearing stories. So maybe not a full-on convention, but I can probably host a place and get some quail and some people, and some food and drinks and whatever.
There you go. QuailCon, Florida. All right, that brings us down to the bottom of the list. That worked out pretty good too, because we are about 2 minutes over right now. So I think everybody's waiting to hear who the winners are. I've seen quite a few people say, when are they drawing the winners? Thinking of my adults and greens. Okay, not talking to me. Okay, no, that was really interesting, Juan. I appreciate you coming on. I hope people over here in the States realize how good we have it. You know, when it comes to, I mean, we have feed, we've got, you know, wire for cages, we got everything you need. And you're over there, you know, being
Caveman.
very ingenuitive, you know, to design cages and waterers and using oil buckets for houses. That's pretty cool. So,
Yeah, I see your build videos. I'm like, I have them. I have your videos, Chris videos. I have most of them. I've seen them like a few times, but then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. But then when I go, I'm like, okay, I need materials. So I get the materials, like the wire, and then I'm like, okay, I don't even have a hammer, Terry.
when you get to Miami, let me know. I'll come over and help you build some cages.
Yeah, definitely. I'm down for it.
Cool. All right, I got to announce the winners. Uh-oh, I lost one of my earbuds. The winner of the hatching eggs is going to be, what did I do? Hold on, I hit something I shouldn't have hit. The winner of the hatching eggs, wow, now I got two screens up. This is crazy. I know you guys can't see it, but it totally throws me off when I see weird things happening here. The winner of the hatching eggs is going to be Bree Patz. These names were selected from our list over there on Facebook, and the winner of the waterers, which is coming from Northwest Quail Farm, is James Dahlheim. So James
Congrats.
and Bree, if you guys are in here, I need you guys to email me your shipping information to Terry@CoturnixCorner.com. If one of my moderators could put my address, my email address on screen, I would appreciate it. It's TERRY at CoturnixCorner.com. So, okay, we got a bunch of congratulations to our winner, to the people that have hatching time.
Congratulations, guys.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, and thank you very much to Northwest Quail Farm and to Anita Garrett and John Garrett from AJ Farms LLC. We appreciate the, the donations to give away here on the channel. I also want to thank my moderators for being in here tonight. Really appreciate you guys keeping the chat room going good. Juan, thank you very much for joining us. I mean,
thank you, Terry. Thank you for bearing all the
I knew after talking to you the first time a couple weeks ago that this was going to be a good show, and yeah, you did great. So
I had to have some time, Terry. You're an amazing host. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. You're welcome back anytime, buddy. Also, guys, don't forget Shop Talk Live. I don't know if I'm going to be here Friday, but check in. I will try to post it on Facebook. If I get done in time, I will post it to Facebook real quick that I will be going live. But right now I can't say for sure. So again, thanks to our moderators. I want to thank our sponsors, Hatching Time and Southwest Game Birds, and also AJ Farms and Northwest Quail. Boy, I got so many Northwest. Yeah, Coturnix Corner Live. Okay. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it.
You're making bank with all the sponsors. I'm joking.
Yeah, I don't make nothing, man. Oh, cool. Little Ridge Farm put your YouTube channel up there, so that's cool. So, guys, yeah, check that out. Subscribe to his channel. And awesome show. Glad I got to hang out with you guys. Cool. So, anyhow, thanks for joining us tonight, guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks again, Juan. Tell your wife and your lovely daughter I said thanks for letting you on the show. And
Yeah,
I hope to
thank
meet
you.
them someday. You guys get to Miami. I
Yeah.
want to meet you guys. So that would be
Definitely,
great.
we'll arrange something.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Have a good night, and we'll see you next week.